Welcome to a special episode of the Measured Words podcast. The person we are talking with today has been associated with the following: buffaloes, lions, and has even been referred to as King Peach. So I'm really interested to finding out a little bit more about our very first guest on the Measured Words podcast. I think we're all going to enjoy it. I am your host, S.J. Baldridge, and let's welcome Kevin Baldridge. Good morning.
Hello, how are you today?
Great. So glad you're here with us.
Oh, thank you. Glad to be here too. Tell
us about yourself, Kevin.
Well, my name is Kevin Baldridge. I grew up in western Nebraska, small town.
Okay, just a second. For those of us living in Omaha, western Nebraska is kind of York. How far west are we talking?
The Panhandle. Colorado was just 3 miles south of us.
Okay, so really western Nebraska.
Yes. A small town. Yeah, we had 20 kids in our class. From there, we grew up, played a lot outside, I was in the middle of a family of 2 brothers and 2 sisters. And from there, went to Wayne State after high school.
So where did the buffalo fit in?
Oh, that was our mascot. The Buffaloes, Chapel Buffaloes.
Okay.
We were, now they're consolidated. So like a lot of small schools in Nebraska, they are not there anymore, but we're the black and orange Buffaloes.
Okay.
So, and just me being Native American too, it always kind of carries with me that being a buffalo is kind of symbolic of that Indian and heritage too.
Okay. Great.
But yeah, I am member of the Cherokee Nation, citizen.
Okay.
My father was a full-blood Cherokee.
Okay. How did that shape your younger years, or even now? How does that shape you?
Younger years, yeah, it was, you were kind of always, I don't know, they looked down a little bit on you in the 70s because your skin was a little darker in western Nebraska, let's put it that way. So I did grow up a little, but actually it kind of put a chip on your shoulder and made you work harder. And we were we were talented and smart, so it made a work ethic, maybe. Okay. Let's put it that way. Mm-hmm. That did prove people wrong, if anything. So okay. I don't look back on it as being bad. It was part of my growth. In life.
Right. That makes sense. And after high school?
Oh, don't even why, but I had a brother in Omaha at the time, and I heard about, there was a recruiting place at this high school in Sydney. So there was a person from Wayne, I never heard of it, no one had. So I said, hey, I'll just try this place. They had fairly decent graduation rates, and I had to pay for school myself, so I was looking at cheap college. So that was very reason why I had to wanted to go to a state school. But then I, just applied there, went there. It was a good experience because it was a small town.
And what school was it again?
Wayne State College.
So you were a Wayne State Wildcat.
Okay. Yes. And there I of course switched majors. I didn't know what I wanted when I first went in. I just knew I needed to do something, and it was that or join the military back in those days. So I was going to be a teacher because I liked history. And then I thought, started taking courses. I took psychology courses, and this is kind of cool. But of course, that's not going to pay the bills down the road. So then I really liked art my whole life. I just loved science fiction and comic books and all that stuff, and used to watch the old horror King Kong movies and stuff like that growing up and loving that. So anyway, they just started a graphic design program. So I thought, well, I'll give this a shot. Even if I don't like it, I like doing it. And of course, it led me into a career in. And there I met this. Going back to Wayne, that led me to a career in graphic design and printing and stuff. But
Great.
But at Wayne State in my dorm, I met this cute little girl named Sally Jane. Anyway, SJ. But yeah, and from there, God has led us on a life that is very great and just been wonderful.
Yeah. So after you graduated, where did you head? Where did you go from there?
I worked in a newspaper to start with, and but then SJ was looking for printing jobs, so we applied everywhere. At that stage of life, it's an open door. So we were thinking of, North Platte looks good. They had an opening, and it was closer to Western Nebraska, and I was thinking, trying to find a place that would have, me, but God knew what he was doing. He's, and then I don't even know why we picked. Sometimes you see something and you just arbitrarily say, okay, let's do that. And it was Bradshaw. And I thought, well, it's close maybe to Lincoln. Maybe I'll find something. But who knows where God puts you in life. And then anyway, we took the job in Bradshaw, and just on a whim, and we thought we would have been either in Valentine or somewhere else. But then God knows where he wants you.
We're meeting another guest briefly. Our dog Mickey decided to make an appearance. Yeah. Okay, anyway, so you moved from Wayne to
York, Nebraska, where we raised our beautiful family.
Okay.
And
how many kids?
4.
4 kids.
Yes.
Okay. So thank you for that background. What are in episode 4, listeners will have heard me talk about Joshua Stones, where I just shared that I think all of us have moments in our lives, whether they were highs or lows, where we certainly knew that God was playing a part. So do you have 1 or 2 Joshua Stones you might be willing to share that just prove that God was faithful in your life?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because where we were trying to find what church to go to even, and we were...
This is back in York?
Yes, back in York. And SJ's background was Lutheran. Mine was more Pentecostal, Foursquare, and Assembly of God. But we just we're looking for... We knew we wanted to follow a life of Christ, but we weren't really, dedicated at that point, I may say. And then just happened to go to a company thing for SJ, and there was a guy I went to church camp with when we were like kids, and at a Foursquare church camp. And he says, we found this really nice Baptist church. So why don't you... So anyway, we went to that, and it felt good. It felt like family, and we ended up being there for over 20 years or so, 30 years, 20 years. But another little God moment, how he steers you to where you need to be and where he wants you. Joshua Stones, while I was there, I went with a group to Promise Keepers, which is big in the 90s. And I think it was after we had we had kids at that time. And I think that's where I first really gave my life to Christ. I knew Christ, and of course I had said earlier, like in church camps when I was a kid, but there's a difference between just saying it and living your life for it, I guess, and being committed.
That's a good way to put it.
And as an adult, sometimes you have a little, stronger will. But it looks like I was in the crowd, and this guy pointed exactly at me. And he said in Spanish, Majito, come at me. He was looking right at me because he was a Spanish preacher. I forgot his name. I should know, but he was a famous guy and then it just felt like he was looking right at me, even though I went to church, and I, faithfully, it wasn't my own. So I guess personally in my heart, I went forward, and and that was a Joshua Stone, because that was a point in my life where I gave my will over to God, I guess, because
a good way to put it.
The
Spirit speaking to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, both of those times prove that God is faithful. Anything else you want to mention about Joshua Stones in your life?
There's been a couple times. Miracles that you seem to happen that, looking back, they don't seem miracles well, they do. There's one when I was in a harvest crew in college, and we had grain trucks. We would go to town, cut wheat.
That's an exciting life.
It was very nomadic.
Yes, good way to put it.
And we would work continuously till the field was done, sometimes from 6 a.m. till I remember 3:00 at night, and start all over again. But if it rained, of course, we would sit around, do nothing but get into trouble. But then we were near, I think we were near, I forgot, it was near Layton. But anyway, we were in a truck. There's like 6 trucks in a row with full of grain. And we were moving and going up a big hill in the country. And there's combines in the front. Anyway, my truck stalled right at the top of the hill. And started going backwards, and there was trucks behind me. And I had enough time to grab my CB and yell, "Back away!" I have, because I could not start my truck because I had no brakes and I had no power steering. So I was trying to keep it on the road, and it went back and back, and the trucks, luckily behind me, backed up enough so I didn't hit them. And then I said, "Oh no, God help me." And I kept trying to start it. And finally, when I was at the base, and I was it would have gone off a ravine backwards, and the truck started, and I slammed on the brakes. And then I got out and looked, and I was 6 inches, the tire, before it would have gone backwards off a ravine with a full load of grain and me in this truck.
Wow.
And it was probably, I don't know, maybe a 40-foot drop.
Yeah.
And
frightening.
It was very frightening. But I guess at the time, I was in my 20s and living life kind of for myself, and thinking, God's kind of slapped me in the face in a way and said, "Wake up,
Right.
I'm in control, not you."
Yeah.
And, make better decisions.
Good part of your testimony. Good. Okay, now we're going to lighten things up a little bit, but thank you for sharing those Joshua Stones, Kevin. So the podcast is called Measured Words because I happen to like words a lot. Are there any songs or any verses that inspire you?
Yeah, some songs I like the old hymns, I guess, remind me of when I was a kid and my mom singing them and stuff. But 2 that come to mind off the top of my head. Oh, she loved watching Billy Graham too. But in the garden.
Oh, right.
Was one that she really liked. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And just that imagery of in the garden, walking with Jesus, holding his hand, in a misty, and then trees above us. Mm-hmm. And then also one that she's saying, it's always, I like to, it sticks in my head, is At the Cross. Mm-hmm. Because that's the basis of Christianity, where we lay everything. At the cross, where I first saw the light. Yeah, that's just one of those.
I think you've been in a choir before, haven't you?
Once or twice. But yes, those are 2 songs off the top of my head I can think of that I enjoy listening to and inspire me.
Right. I just like for people to share these because it inspires others, or it reminds others, hey, maybe I should check out this song, hear it again, and renew the spirit, or just have somebody else listen to a song that inspired you.
Yeah. No, those are both two old songs that, I don't know, top of my head I can think of that really inspire me.
Yeah.
I guess.
Made an
in
impact.
faith, yes. Music and verses, I guess. One that I kind of always think of in my head, Romans 12:18 is, for as much as it depends on you, live at peace with others. I try to keep that in my head every day as you're in the workplace, as you're driving through town and white-knuckled at other people driving.
That's really a good one.
Yeah.
For those of you who memorize verses, Romans 12:18. Yes, it helps us through our daily life. That's great. Okay, we have talked about a few things, but I probably need you to explain a little bit why I said at the start. You covered the buffalo part, Chapel
Yes.
Buffaloes, but you're a lion?
I'm in the community club Lion. I wanted to find a club I could give back to. There's different ones, Rotary, Kiwanis Lions, but
And what's one of the purposes, or what do the Lions do?
Lions, one of their big things is eyesight. We give doctor's appointments and glasses to little kids.
Right.
And we go to schools and test eyesights for children that may need them.
Right.
So
Important.
yeah, and if kids and families that can't afford it,
Right.
we pay for the glasses, and we partner with Shopco, which really is nice with the Lions. But that's one of their main goals, and they started that by actually Helen Keller talked to a group in Chicago back in I think it was the 20s.
Service organizations,
Yes.
they're dwindling a little bit, but good purpose. Okay, and then King Peach.
King Peach. Well, one of
What
our
a title.
I know. One of our fundraisers for the Lions Club was selling peaches, and in New York,
It still is, right?
Oh yes,
Okay,
it still
yes.
is here in Miller too. But the King Peach is I used to help advertise the sale at the York radio station, and so I would do a little community thing, and they would make kind of play off it and called me King Peach.
Yes,
So,
quite a title.
yeah, it was fun. We kind of play it up just for the sale of it.
Yes, right. And those sales happen in June, July, for those of
July,
us who
yeah.
love peaches and look forward to that each year.
Just locate a fellow Lions member to sell you some.
Okay, since you're my first guest, we haven't done this before, but I'm going to call this part a dash of this and a dash of that. So, a little trivia about you. What's your favorite food?
All food, but I will narrow it down. I like Mexican food, but I think if you ask for my very, very favorite, I'd have to say pork chops.
Okay.
Yeah, I love a good pork chop dinner.
Okay. This one, it's trivia. It's a dash of this, dash of that. But for those of us who like to try different restaurants and places in Omaha, what's a restaurant you would recommend? It doesn't have to be your favorite, just one you like going to.
There's one right near us that we found. It's kind of like an old mom and pop. It's called Vidlax, and it's only breakfast and lunch, but their prices are great, and their food, it just makes you feel like that old hometown, small town plates of really good home cooked food.
Okay, excellent. So try it out, folks. What hobbies do you enjoy doing?
Like I said, I'm a graphic artist, so I do a lot of artwork. I love painting. I have done some 3-dimensional works. I love, building things around the house, to keep me occupied. But
Busy with your hands.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Like it. Favorite color?
I think it is still purple.
Okay. A gift card. If you got a $50 gift card to anywhere, where would you like that?
I think I say I like to build things, so I like Menards. So
Okay.
I could always use gift cards to Menards. It seems like I can find
Fair.
something to spend it on.
Fair. So, well, Kevin, it has been wonderful chatting with you this morning. I really appreciate you talking to us on the Measured Words podcast. Now we know a little bit about you, why you're a buffalo, why you're a lion, King Peach, and we also know some Joshua stones in your life. And I really like your verse, Romans 12:18. For as much as it depends on you, live at peace with others. That's so important for us to do on a daily basis. So I really appreciate you coming into the Measured Words podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you. I am S.J. Baldridge, and I look forward to next time with you. And so just again, to wrap up, to God be the glory, great things he hath done.